5 Forbidden Places Humans Were Never Meant to Enter, Part 1. Crossing the Line. There are places on Earth where the air feels different. Not colder. Not warmer. Just heavier. Places where your body reacts before your mind does. Your breathing changes. Your steps slow. You feel as though you are standing somewhere that does not belong to you. For most of human history, people believed the world was full of boundaries. Invisible lines that should not be crossed. Sacred spaces. Cursed lands. Forbidden ground. As science advanced, many of those beliefs faded. Maps filled in. Satellites scanned every corner of the planet. And yet, even now, there are places we still avoid. Not because we cannot reach them, but because something tells us we should not. Tonight, we are going to talk about 5 forbidden places humans were never meant to enter. These are not fictional locations. They are real. They exist today. Each one is closed, restricted, or avoided for reasons that are never fully explained. Some are forbidden to protect us. Some are forbidden to protect what lives there. And some are forbidden because the truth inside them is considered too dangerous to face. This is not a story meant to frighten you. There will be no sudden shocks here. No loud moments. Instead, this is a slow walk toward the edge of what humanity understands. And what it has deliberately chosen to turn away from. As you listen, allow your thoughts to drift. Let the images form naturally. There is nowhere you need to go. Long before borders existed, humans learned one important lesson. Not every place welcomes us. Some landscapes resist settlement. Some environments push back. And some locations feel as though they were designed for something else entirely. Modern society often assumes that if something exists, it can be explored, measured, and controlled. But history tells a quieter story. Again and again, humans have discovered places where progress stops. Where curiosity meets resistance. And when those warnings are ignored, the consequences are rarely simple. Governments label these places restricted zones. Scientists use words like hazardous or unstable. But among those who have been close enough to feel it, another word is often used instead. Wrong. The nature of forbidden places. A forbidden place is not always marked by fences or guards. Often, the restriction comes later after something has already gone wrong. An expedition disappears. A settlement collapses. A discovery raises more questions than answers. Only then does the silence begin. Records are sealed. Access is limited. Explanations become vague. Over time, these places fade from public awareness. They remain on maps, but not in conversation. And that is often exactly the point. Because forbidden places have a habit of revealing uncomfortable truths. About nature. About humanity. About our limits. And tonight, we begin with one of the most isolated and deliberately avoided locations on Earth. A place that has rejected the modern world for thousands of years. Place 1 North Sentinel Island. Far out in the Bay of Bengal, surrounded by restless water and unpredictable currents, lies a small island covered almost entirely in dense forest. From the air, North Sentinel Island appears untouched. No roads cut through the trees. No buildings break the canopy. It looks less like a destination, and more like a memory. North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. They have lived here for an estimated 60,000 years. Longer than written history. Longer than most civilizations. And in all that time, they have made one thing unmistakably clear. They want to be left alone. When aircraft fly overhead, the Sentinelese emerge from the forest with bows raised. When boats drift too close to the shore, warning arrows are fired. These are not gestures of curiosity. They are boundaries. Anthropologists once believed that peaceful contact could be established. That gifts left on the beach might soften relations. But every attempt ended the same way. Rejection. The Sentinelese do not approach outsiders. They do not communicate. They do not negotiate. They simply defend. In the late 20th century, several official contact missions were attempted. Researchers arrived in boats, leaving coconuts and tools at the shoreline. Sometimes the gifts were taken. Sometimes they were destroyed. But the message never changed. Do not come closer. Over time, the outside world began to understand something crucial. The Sentinelese are not isolated because they are unaware of us. They are isolated because they have chosen to be. And that choice has been respected mostly. Until 2018. A young American missionary named John Allen Chow became convinced that he was meant to bring Christianity to North Sentinel Island. Despite knowing that contact was illegal and extremely dangerous, he paid local fishermen to take him near the shore. On his first attempt, arrows were fired. He returned anyway. Witnesses later described seeing members of the tribe dragging his body across the beach. The Indian government made a decision that surprised some but not those familiar with the island. They refused to recover the body. No investigation. No retaliation. North Sentinel Island was declared permanently off-limits. Not only to protect the Sentinelese from disease, but to acknowledge a boundary that should never have been crossed. There is something unsettling about North Sentinel Island. Not because of violence, but because of its resistance. Empires expanded across oceans. Colonial powers reshaped entire continents. And yet this island remained untouched. Satellite images show no significant change to its shoreline for centuries. No signs of environmental degradation. No infrastructure. Almost as if time moves differently there. Some researchers have quietly suggested that the Sentinelese survival is not accidental. that their isolation has preserved something the modern world has lost. Others believe the island represents a living reminder of what humanity once was, and what it can never return to. North Sentinel Island is forbidden not because it is dangerous. It is forbidden because it challenges the idea that progress is inevitable, or even welcome. And for that reason alone, it may be one of the most important forbidden places on Earth. We will continue deeper in the next part. Because the next forbidden place is not alive with people, but frozen in the moment humanity lost control. Chernobyl and Area 51. Our next forbidden place is not alive with people in the same way North Sentinel Island is. Instead, it is frozen. Frozen in time. Frozen in memory. Frozen in a moment humanity never fully recovered from. This is a place where the air carries a weight not of wind or clouds but of what has been lost. It is a place that humbles even the boldest explorers. And that place is Chernobyl. Place to the Chernobyl exclusion zone. April 26, 1986. At precisely 1:23 a.m., reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. The world did not immediately notice. Even the nearby city of Pripyat, home to plant workers and their families, did not understand the scale of what had occurred. By morning, a thin orange cloud had spread over the surrounding countryside. Radiation, invisible and odorless, drifted across towns, forests, and rivers. Residents were evacuated. Children were pulled from their beds. Families abandoned their possessions. Pets were left behind. All told, tens of thousands of people were displaced. And the land itself was forever changed. Today, the Chernobyl exclusion zone is a haunting reminder of what happens when human technology is pushed beyond its limits. It spans over 1,000 square miles. Roads wind through empty towns. Schoolyards sit frozen, swings swaying in the wind as though the children who played there might return at any moment. Trees grow through cracked asphalt. Animals roam freely where humans once lived. Some biologists have studied the flora and fauna here. And what they've found is unusual. Wolves, boars, and birds behave differently than their counterparts outside the zone. Some animals display unusual aggression. Others, strange mutations. It is as if the land itself is remembering. As if it keeps a memory of the day humans lost control. Visitors report strange phenomena. Electronic devices fail unexpectedly. Geiger counters spike in areas where radiation levels are considered low. Voices echo in empty buildings. There are stories of shadows moving across corridors where no one stands. Of footsteps echoing in abandoned halls. Chernobyl is not only forbidden because of radiation. It is forbidden because it carries the memory of human error. And when you walk its streets, you can feel that memory pressing down on you. There is a quiet tension here. A reminder that some boundaries are invisible. And some lessons cannot be ignored. Place 3 Area 51. From the frozen landscapes of Chernobyl, we travel thousands of miles west to the desert of Nevada. Here lies a place equally forbidding, though in a different way. Area 51. The name itself inspires speculation. Stories, conspiracy theories, late-night documentaries. But the truth is simpler and stranger. Area 51 is a military installation. Its airspace is permanently restricted. Its perimeter is patrolled by armed guards, cameras, and sensors. No civilian is allowed near the site. No unauthorized aircraft may fly over it. For decades, the government denied its existence entirely. Until finally, documents were declassified, though they revealed little beyond what could already be inferred. Officially, the base tests experimental aircraft. But former workers and whistleblowers suggest far more is hidden beneath the desert sands. Stories circulate of underground facilities that stretch far deeper than hangars would require. Projects so compartmentalized that workers never understand the full picture. Materials and technology that defy conventional physics. Visitors, if there ever were any, would be met with strict consequences. Arrest, detention, warnings. Area 51 is forbidden not because the land itself is dangerous, but because what happens there is not meant for human understanding. Some say the government hides evidence of alien technology. Others suggest it is simply a test bed for top-secret engineering. Whatever the truth, Area 51 sends a clear message. Some knowledge is forbidden. Some truths are not ours to know. There is something uniquely human about this type of forbidden place. Unlike North Sentinel Island, where the boundary is natural and enforced by living people, or Chernobyl, where nature itself keeps humans at bay. Area 51 is forbidden because we are not trusted to see it. It is a reminder that humanity sometimes confronts limits not in the physical world, but in the realm of knowledge itself. Place for the Vatican Secret Archives. From deserts, we move to one of the most visited cities in the world, Rome. Beneath Vatican City lies a labyrinth of documents, manuscripts, and records spanning centuries. The Vatican Apostolic Archives, commonly called the Vatican Secret Archives, are some of the most restricted collections on Earth. They are not closed because they are dangerous. They are closed because what lies within could alter understanding. The archives contain letters from emperors, records of heretical trials, correspondence between kings, and documents written in languages that no longer exist. Only approved scholars may enter. Even then, only specific documents are available for study. Many rumors circulate about what is inside. Some claim that the archives hold evidence of events never recorded in history books. Others suggest that they contain texts capable of changing religious, social, or scientific understanding. In truth, no one outside the Vatican can confirm what is truly hidden. The forbidden nature of these archives serves as a reminder. Knowledge, like the land and its people, can be guarded. And the most dangerous thing sometimes is what we are allowed to see, and what we are not. Place 5 Snake Island, Ilha de Queimada Grande. Finally, we move to the coast of Brazil. A small island, scarcely larger than a city block, is home to thousands of highly venomous snakes. Ilha de Queimada Grande, or Snake Island. The golden lancehead vipers that inhabit this island have evolved in total isolation. They are faster, stronger, deadlier than any related species on the mainland. The Brazilian government forbids anyone from landing on the island. Even researchers are carefully escorted. Legends surround the island. Some suggest that the snakes were intentionally left to protect treasures. Others simply acknowledge what biologists confirm: the snakes are lethal. But it is not just the snakes that make the island forbidden. There is something about the way the island itself behaves. Those who have ventured close describe a sense that the ground is alive. That the motion beneath their feet is not only natural, but aware. Snake Island is a stark reminder that not all land is meant for humans. Some ecosystems are absolute, unforgiving, untouchable. And so, we have reached the 5 places we will focus on in this first part. Each one has a boundary. Each one carries a warning. And each one is forbidden for reasons we only begin to understand. Some are forbidden by people. Some by nature. Some by forces that remain a mystery. And as you listen tonight, let yourself drift through these forbidden places. Imagine the heat of the desert at Area 51. The suffocating silence of Pripyat's empty streets. The quiet anger of the Sentinelese watching from the trees. The whispering shadows in the Vatican Archives. The hiss of a snake on a Brazilian island. Each place has a rhythm, a feeling, a life of its own. And the longer you listen, the more your mind will begin to sense it too. Because these places are not just forbidden to the body. They are forbidden to the imagination. To the curiosity of humankind. And they will remain that way. Part 3: Deepening the Forbidden. As we continue, let us linger a little longer. Let us walk slowly along the edges of human understanding. Forbidden places are not always marked with fences or warnings. Some exist because nature enforces its rules. Some exist because knowledge is dangerous. And some exist simply because humans are not welcome. We have already visited North Sentinel Island, a land fiercely protected by its people. We have wandered through Chernobyl, a place where time itself seems to have stopped. We have glimpsed the secrecy of Area 51 and the hidden depths of the Vatican Archives. We have hovered over Snake Island, where nature's lethality is absolute. But forbidden places demand patience. They require that we slow our breathing, that we notice the small details. The whisper of the wind through dead streets. The glint of sunlight on a snake's scales. The echo of footsteps where none should fall. Let us begin with the silence of Chernobyl again. Chernobyl, the weight of abandoned lives. Pripyat, once a city of over 50,000 residents, is now a ghost town. Apartment buildings lean with the years, windows shattered, doors hanging open. Inside the apartments, it is easy to imagine life frozen in motion. A teacup on a table. A notebook left open. A doll lying in the corner. Even the schools tell a story. The classrooms are empty, yet still hold chalkboards marked with unfinished lessons. Pencils remain where children set them down. Outside, the wind carries the faint metallic scent of rusting metal. Trees sprout through cracks in the pavement, growing in ways that seem unnatural. Some visitors report hearing the echoes of what once was. Laughter. Footsteps. A piano playing in a distant room. Others speak of something darker. A sensation of being watched. Shadows moving where no one stands. Scientists study the wildlife. Wolves, foxes, birds. All behave strangely, as though the zone has its own rules. Some researchers have even reported mutations in plant life. Twisted branches, unusually colored leaves, growths that appear and vanish unpredictably. Chernobyl is a reminder that human influence is temporary. The land endures. It remembers. Even in silence, it speaks. Area 51 secrets buried beneath the desert. Across the ocean, the Nevada desert stretches endlessly. Barren. Unforgiving. Amid this emptiness lies Area 51, a place that reminds us some boundaries are not natural, but enforced by human hands. The secrecy surrounding Area 51 has created its own myths. Stories of unidentified flying objects. Experimental aircraft. Technology that defies physics. Yet the truth, even when discovered, may be more unsettling than the legends. Former workers describe a life of compartmentalization. One only sees a small piece of the project. One never understands the whole. Tasks are repeated meticulously, day after day, without question. Some claim that certain underground levels are so deep that sunlight never reaches them. Others speak of rooms filled with materials that cannot be identified. No civilian may enter. No explanation is offered. And in that silence, curiosity becomes forbidden. Area 51 is a reminder that some knowledge is not merely dangerous. It is controlled, restricted, and for reasons that are never fully revealed. The Vatican Archives, custodians of hidden truths. Beneath Vatican City, corridors stretch endlessly. Rows of shelves hold manuscripts centuries old. The air smells faintly of parchment and ink. Dust motes float in the filtered light, dancing silently. The archives are not just records of church history. They are records of human history itself. Letters from kings, notes from scholars, trials of those who dared to question orthodoxy. Yet even these shelves tell a story of exclusion. Access is permitted only to the select few. Even then, permission is specific, temporary, limited. Why? Because some knowledge has consequences. Even today, texts in these archives challenge what we understand about faith, science, and history. And if released prematurely, they could destabilize belief systems built over centuries. The Vatican Secret Archives remind us that not all boundaries are physical. Some exist in the mind, in understanding, and crossing them may change a person irrevocably. Snake Island, the rule of nature. Off the coast of Brazil, the small Ilha de Queimada Grande looms. A tiny island, yet home to thousands of golden lancehead vipers. The snakes move with precision. Silent. Deadly. Every step, every coil, a reminder that this land is theirs. Visitors, if allowed, are carefully escorted. Even then, the slightest misstep could be fatal. Legends suggest the snakes were placed to guard treasure. Scientists, however, observe evolution at work. The isolation of the island has created snakes that are faster, more aggressive, more lethal than any mainland relative. And the island itself seems alive. The air hums with energy. The ground shifts beneath your feet. Snake Island is forbidden not because humans are weak, but because this ecosystem does not bend to human presence. It is perfect, complete, and unyielding. And it teaches a lesson that echoes through all forbidden places. Some boundaries are not meant to be crossed. Some places are absolute. Some places will never welcome us. Reflection on forbidden places. As we step back from these locations, notice what they have in common. Each boundary serves a purpose. Each forbidden zone enforces limits, whether through people, nature, radiation, secrecy, or evolution. Each reminds us that not all exploration leads to understanding. The Sentinelese warn us about intrusion. Chernobyl teaches us about hubris. Area 51 shows the limits of knowledge. The Vatican Archives hide truths too powerful for casual eyes. Snake Island enforces nature's final law. Together, they form a pattern. Forbidden places exist because humanity is not ready. Because some truths are not meant to be discovered. Because some lands do not belong to us. And as we drift through this knowledge, as your breathing slows and your mind follows these images, you begin to feel what those who approach these places feel. A quiet warning. A subtle tension. A sense that some boundaries exist for a reason. Hints of more to come. This is only part 1. There are more forbidden places. Places where humans have vanished. Places where history has been erased. Places that challenge the very idea of what it means to be human. In part 2, we will explore additional locations. Some are natural. Some man-made. Some exist in plain sight, yet we are forbidden to enter. And as you drift closer to sleep, allow the quiet tension of these stories to settle. Let the forbidden world extend beyond your imagination. Because these places are not just physical. They are conceptual, psychological, spiritual. And they remind us, in every subtle detail. Not everything on Earth was meant to be understood. Part 4 Final Reflections and the Edge of Human Understanding. As we continue, let us slow our pace even further. Let us not rush through these forbidden places. Instead, imagine standing at the edge of the unknown, listening to the wind, feeling the earth beneath your feet, sensing what lies beyond human reach. Forbidden places do not shout. They do not demand attention. They whisper. They wait. And they judge your presence before you even speak. We have visited the Sentinelese on North Sentinel Island. We have wandered the silent streets of Pripyat in Chernobyl. We have considered the secrets of Area 51 and the hidden manuscripts of the Vatican Archives. We have felt the danger and precision of Snake Island. Each has taught us something. And yet, there is more. For even in the absence of humans, these places continue to speak to those who are willing to listen. The Lessons of North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island is one of the clearest examples of what it means to be forbidden. The Sentinelese do not merely resist contact. They actively enforce it. And their methods are simple, ancient, and effective. Observation. Warning. Defense. There is a subtle lesson here for all humanity. Some places are alive with boundaries. Boundaries that are not written in laws, but in instinct, culture, and survival. We have become accustomed to thinking of every land as ours to claim, every forest as ours to explore, every ocean as ours to navigate. But North Sentinel Island refuses. It exists outside our influence. It thrives beyond our control. And that, in itself, is a profound form of communication. The island is a living argument against human arrogance. A reminder that some civilizations choose isolation, and that choice deserves respect. Chernobyl, the weight of human error. Chernobyl, by contrast, is not defended by people. It is defended by consequences. The silent buildings, the overgrown roads, the wildlife that has adapted, these are not just relics. They are warnings. In Chernobyl, the world observes what happens when knowledge and power collide without wisdom. When technology is mismanaged. When decisions are made without fully understanding the risks. The exclusion zone is a forbidden place because it preserves a moment in time that we cannot safely repeat. The radiation is not the only danger. The danger lies in the lessons embedded in the land, lessons about human limitation, about the fragility of life, about the consequences of hubris. Walking through Pripyat, you do not merely see abandoned buildings. You feel the weight of history pressing against you. And you are reminded that some boundaries are invisible, yet profoundly real. Area 51, the limits of understanding. Area 51, like the Sentinelese or Chernobyl, reminds us that boundaries exist in multiple forms. Here, the line is not drawn in sand, trees, or radiation. It is drawn in knowledge. What lies beneath the desert is unknown. And that unknown is forbidden, not because it is inherently dangerous to life, but because the mind is unprepared to comprehend it. In the human imagination, Area 51 becomes a symbol of the things we cannot know. The technologies, the projects, the events that exist just out of reach. We are forbidden here because access would change understanding. It might reshape belief, perception, and even the concept of reality itself. In that way, Area 51 teaches us that some boundaries are psychological, some are intellectual, and some are existential. The Vatican Secret Archives knowledge as a guardian. The Vatican Secret Archives illustrate another aspect of forbidden places. Not every restriction is enforced by nature or fear of violence. Some are maintained to protect knowledge. What is held within these corridors is centuries of human thought. Records of triumph and failure, of faith and doubt, of politics and war. The archives are forbidden because information itself is powerful. It is said that some texts, if misinterpreted or released too soon, could alter the course of history. And so, access is limited. To enter is to understand that not every truth is ready for the world. Some truths are dangerous when wielded without context. Some knowledge must remain behind closed doors. The lesson here is subtle. Boundaries exist not only in the physical world but in the moral and intellectual worlds as well. And crossing them without preparation can have consequences as serious as radiation, arrows, or venomous snakes. Snake Island, the law of nature. Finally, Snake Island reminds us of the ultimate boundary, nature itself. There are places on Earth where humans simply cannot prevail. Where life has evolved in isolation. Where every organism is finely tuned to its environment. On Snake Island, the golden lancehead vipers have no predators. They have adapted perfectly to their domain. And any human intrusion is a risk both for the visitor and the ecosystem. The island is not just forbidden, it is absolute. No law, no gate, no warning sign could make the snakes more dangerous. They are, by nature, perfect guardians of their domain. Snake Island teaches the most ancient lesson of all. The world is not ours. Some places belong entirely to life forms that predate us. And we enter at our own peril. The common thread. When we examine all 5 forbidden places together, a pattern emerges. North Sentinel Island teaches us about respect and cultural boundaries. Chernobyl teaches us about the consequences of human error. Area 51 teaches us about the limits of human understanding. The Vatican Archives teach us about the power of knowledge. Snake Island teaches us about nature's absolute control. All 5 remind us that boundaries exist for reasons. Some are clear. Some are invisible. Some are enforced by humans, some by nature, some by time itself. And all are warnings. Warnings that humans are not always ready. That curiosity is not always harmless. That some discoveries are not meant for our era. Forbidden places are mirrors. They reflect not only the world, but ourselves. our hubris, our fear, our limitations, and our occasional humility, when we are wise enough to heed the warning. Imagining the forbidden. As you listen now, allow your imagination to wander. Picture standing on the beach of North Sentinel Island, hearing the whisper of the forest and the soft twang of a bowstring in the distance. Imagine walking through the empty streets of Pripyat, where broken toys lie in the shadows and the wind carries whispers of the past. Envision the desert of Nevada, a shimmering horizon hiding secrets humans are not meant to know. Step softly through the halls of the Vatican, where centuries of knowledge wait silently in the dark. Finally, stand on the shore of Snake Island, feeling the tension in the air as thousands of golden snakes shift beneath the trees. Every detail matters. Every sensation counts. Every pause, every breath, every heartbeat becomes part of the story. And as your mind drifts through these places, remember this. Forbidden places are not only about danger. They are about respect. About understanding limits. And about the profound mystery that continues to exist in the world, just beyond our reach. Closing reflections. Part 1 of this series ends here. But the journey is far from over. There are more places hidden from view. More boundaries waiting to be recognized. More lessons waiting for those patient enough to observe and reflect. As you settle into sleep, let the images linger. Let your mind drift to forests, deserts, abandoned cities, secret archives, and islands teeming with life that refuses humans. Let the stories of forbidden places wrap around you like a blanket. Soft, tense, and infinitely slow. Because tonight, you are allowed to visit them safely. And perhaps, in dreaming, you will sense what those who approach these boundaries in the real world cannot. The quiet, patient power of a world that is not ours. Sleep now. The forbidden places will wait for another day.